Good afternoon to you, Anneliese.
Good afternoon, Patricia.
And water everywhere. You sick of the rain?
Actually, it's glorious in Ballincollig.
Is it?
Great.
Oh, that's good. We're expecting a bit of sunshine today, but the wet weather is back on Wednesday. But I don't know, when you look at all the fires that are going on in Europe, are we better with this than that scorching temperature?
100%, Patricia, because, at least, we can always get out for an hour or two in between. It's not, it's not all day, and we can sleep at night. Over there, I think even if you can escape in the daytime, at night it must be hell.
Yeah. I heard somebody saying it was like being in hell. And somebody saying, and when you do go out, it's like somebody's turning a hairdryer, blowing it in your face. It's a hot hairdryer. It's just
horrible. Yeah. We're lucky. We should count our blessings.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Okay.
Let's get straight into questions. This one, a listener says, I'm going to get in nice and early. It was one of our first texts this morning for Anneliese. I've recently started HRT and I'm feeling bloated and very premenstrual with it. I can fall asleep. I'll wake up 2 hours later and fall back to sleep again and then wake up again. I'm mentally and physically exhausted. Could Anneliese recommend any supplement, or can you take is there any alternative menopause supplement that you can take alongside with the HRT help, please?
Yeah, it's an excellent question, Patricia, because HRT is wonderful and it helps an awful lot of people, but actually it also doesn't agree with a lot of people. So for my customers who haven't agreed with, I've heard things like increased belly fat, bloating, constipation, weepiness, a lot of weepiness as well. So some people as well, they have to do progesterone alongside the HRT, and I think they are the people who are prone to get more weepy. I think it's the progesterone. So it's not always the answer for everybody, but I think a doctor would tell you need to kind of really give it about 3 months to allow for everything to kind of balance and kick in before you can really judge whether it or not it's for you. Most people will find a great benefit to it. If it's not for you, the natural alternatives are there's a lot of them actually, and they work really, really well. And actually, they're not that much more expensive than buying HRT every month anyway. And they can also be taken alongside HRT very healthily and without any crossover or any problems. So the ones that work best for our customers are, there's two that I would say would be good for kind of all over symptoms. The first one I'd recommend is the Nutri-Advanced Perimenopause Support. And the second one is the Revive Menoactive, which is very good as well. So both of those target menopause from a lot of different angles. So they support the stress axis as well, because we've all got very busy lives and a lot of us have quite a bit of stress on. So stress will directly impact your sex hormones. So by supporting that, it's also helping with hormone balance. And they have a lot of stuff for energy, for brain fog, for low mood, and they're great all-rounders. So the two of those, we get great feedback on them. There are a couple of other ones as well then that would be beneficial. So Dong Quai is a kind of a Chinese herb that has got natural hormones in there. And we found that can work very well for people's libido, if that's the main thing, if your kind of libido is gone. And Terra Nova do a great Dong Quai product. Also, there are two other products that are worth mentioning. The Vogel Menopause Support is just very simply plant-based hormones, so they don't have any of the other stress support. So they're kind of great if you've got a few symptoms but not an awful lot. It's a really good value product. And then they also, of course, do the Sage, which is very good for hot flushes. So if hot flush is your only symptom, and if that's what's keeping you awake at night, Sage is the one for you. So the four of those, again, are the Nutri-Advanced Perimenopause Support and the Revive Active Menoactive. They're the two great kind of top-of-the-range all-round supports. And then the other ones would be Dong Quai for libido and the Vogel Menopause Support and Sage for hot flushes.
Okay, and the fact that she's only recently gone on it, does she just need time for it to settle down?
I think the doctor will tell you it takes about 3 months, really, and I think most people would say it'll take a few months to kick in. So I'd give it 3 months, and if you're still not right after 3 months, maybe it's not for you. But you can certainly try taking the natural products alongside HRT. They'll work very well together. Okay.
Hi, Anneliese. I've got blisters at the back of my tongue and I can't seem to get rid of them. I was on an antibiotic, doesn't seem to have helped. I'm also using a good mouthwash.
I don't really know, Patricia. Sometimes blisters can be like an allergic reaction. A lot of people would get blisters on their lips, inner lips or tongues, or even mouth ulcers from berries. I always think when I hear this in the summer, I think we're always eating a lot of strawberries and other berries. So would that be the cause? Possibly, are you eating a lot of berries? generally for kind of a healthy mouth, actually there's a very good tip somebody gave me during the week. Udo's do a Super 5 lozenge, which is probiotics in lozenge form. So you can actually suck those and you get the good bacteria in your mouth. So that's brilliant to prevent gum disease, mouth ulcers, if you've got a horrible coating on your tongue, bad breath, and may also help with these blisters as well. It just basically puts the good bacteria into your mouth so that you've got a healthy sort of population in your mouth and in your saliva. So you could try those. They're the Udo Super 5s. And then I know that Dr. Claire does an amazing mouthwash that has got myrrh in it. The frankincense and myrrh that the wise old men brought for baby Jesus. So they really obviously have huge value healing properties as well. So she has actually myrrh in tincture form in her mouthwash, and it's great. I've given it to people who've had really stubborn ulcers, very painful gum disease, and had fantastic results with it. So you could definitely try that as well. And then if they're not disappearing, you'll probably have to do a bit of digging to see are you maybe reacting to something that you're eating.
Those Udos, the Udos Super 5, the lozenges, I've used those because I was going through a period of just getting reoccurring mouth ulcers. Brilliant. Found them
they're
absolutely,
very, very good.
absolutely fantastic.
The other thing actually I could suggest too, Patricia, is I find colloidal silver is great for kind of healing stubborn things up. It's just tiny nanoparticles of silver in water, so it's really safe. You can use it on kids. It's tasteless. You can spray it into the eye if you've got eye infections. But again, I would recommend often those for ulcers to kind of take the pain out of them and heal them up quicker, and it works really well. So colloidal silver would be the third thing I'd add there. Okay,
Margaret says, hi Anneliese, I use cinnamon every morning on my fruit and porridge, about half a teaspoonful. I've been recently told it can be toxic to your liver. Could you please give advice on this?
Yeah, I think probably everything is toxic in high amounts, Patricia. So that probably is the truth in that. Even peaches, the kernel of a peach has arsenic in it. And arsenic would be well known as a poison. But, of course, it needs to be in a toxic amount for it to cause problems. The one thing I recommend is if you're going to take something on a regular basis and it's not expensive, try and get the organic one, because my worry would be more about what sprays are put on the product and then concentrated in the final form than actually what's naturally occurring in it in low amounts. So, we do a great organic cinnamon in here, and it's not expensive. I think it's about £7 for over 200 grams. So it's a really good value one, and at least you're sure that you're not getting any toxic chemicals on it, and that'll take definitely some stress off the liver to detoxify those. And I think a half a teaspoon a day is perfectly safe.
Hi, Patricia. Question for Anneliese, please. I've got arthritis in my fingers on both hands. They are very swollen. I have nodules and my thumbs have actually changed shape completely and are extremely sore. God, that sounds dreadful. I don't eat any processed food. I only have I've oily fish twice a week. I'm taking a good quality cod liver oil supplement. I've been doing that for the past 5 weeks, but I'm seeing no improvement. Any suggestions, please, from Anneliese? God,
okay.
Very painful, isn't it?
It is very painful. The one of the things I would say first, Patricia, is that I think it might be worth going down to your doctor and just getting your bloods checked to make sure that it is just wear and tear arthritis as opposed to something more serious like rheumatoid arthritis. So go down and get that checked by your doctor, because if that's the case, you will need to go on immune modulating drugs to keep that under control. So the cod liver oil is wonderful as a natural anti-inflammatory, and a lot of people take it for joints for that reason. But I think it's not very specific for joints. So in this case, I would recommend adding a few different things. Now, when my customers are in a flare-up of arthritis, albeit rheumatoid or wear and tear arthritis, I always recommend a natural anti-inflammatory for at least a month to try and get the inflammation down, because you're never going to get good healing happening if there's a lot of inflammation. So the ones that we would use here, the one that works the best actually for our customers is a Nutri-Advanced one, and it's called Curcudine Forte, Curdyn Forte, Forte, and it's a combination of curcumin, the extract from turmeric, and boswellia in very high concentrated form. And that's very good for modulating inflammation and trying to bring that down straight away. And then I'd add in a joint supplement. So there's a couple that work really well for our customers. Some do better on one than the other. But the GAL-UC2 cartilage, we get amazing feedback on that sometimes. People come in within a week having noticed a benefit. So that's Gal UC2 cartilage. And the other one is an Irish product by One Nutrition, and it's just called Joint Support. And that seems to work very well for some people as well. And again, could take about 4 weeks to kick in, but 4 weeks is fast, I think, in terms of natural supplements. And then if you're in a severe pain, I would start rubbing something into that just to take the pain out of it. So get some kind of cream, like a deep heat or something like that, even in the chemist or in the health shop, that heats up, and that heat, or soak them in warm water, and that can sometimes take the pain out.
Okay, good luck with that. Anne says, hi, question for Anneliese, please. I'm a woman in my late 60s. I've recently been diagnosed with osteopenia. Doctor has put me on calcium and vitamin D. I read on the internet that I should be taking vitamin K2 MK7 with the vitamin D. Would Anneliese think that I should be taking this vitamin K2 MK7, which I've never heard of? Any advice, gratefully appreciated.
Yes, I definitely do, Patricia. Now, vitamin K2 always kind of gets a bit of eyebrows raised from a lot of medical people, because vitamin K1 is a blood clotter.
Okay.
We need it in our bodies to help our blood clot so it stops bleeding. But for that reason, a lot of people would be worried about taking vitamin K2. It's actually a very different product. It doesn't clot your blood. It's actually a really amazing vitamin. It can help prevent build-up of plaque as well in the arteries. One of the dangers about taking high amounts of calcium is that high calcium in the bloodstream can actually interact with cholesterol in the arteries and harden and form the plaque. So actually too much calcium is not a good thing. And I often think we ask the wrong question here in Ireland, in a country where we have plenty of dairy in our diet and most people are getting adequate calcium. Why do we have osteopenia and osteoporosis? I personally don't feel it's down to a lack of calcium. I think it's probably more down to a lack of vitamin D, because that's what we're more likely to be deficient in, seeing as we only get it for a couple of months in the summer every year. So I'm not a big fan of taking high doses of calcium for heart health reasons. So if you are taking a lot of calcium, make sure you take a vitamin K2. And you can actually get vitamin D and K2 in a supplement together, because they're quite often put together in health stores. And they're not expensive. So anyone with heart health issues or with bone issues, or anyone after menopause, I would definitely recommend taking them both together. Okay,
and let's finish up with a couple of questions to do with ulcers. Somebody wants to know, what would Anneliese recommend for leg ulcers? And Margaret was on to us from West Cork. She suffers from leg ulcers. She's not diabetic. She's tried dressings from the nurse. They clear up for a bit, but then they break out again. Reoccurring leg ulcers.
So when I hear reoccurring leg ulcers, Patricia, I think it's probably a circulation issue, because if you're not getting good circulation to the area and a good blood flow bringing the nutrients and the oxygen to the area, you're more likely to get ulceration, and it's going to take a lot harder and longer for them to heal. So if that is an issue, supporting circulation would be really good. And things that are good for that are things, firstly, that keep the blood thin. So things like garlic is fantastic, turmeric is fantastic, and all the fish oils are lovely for keeping the blood lovely and flowy and thin. The other thing that's great for circulation is actually horseradish. And Viridian do a horseradish and garlic complex, and we get good feedback on that in the winter. I give it to people for chilblains when they've got circulation issues and get a lot of chilblains. So maybe take something like that to improve your circulation. And then always two things for skin healing, vitamin C and zinc. They'll always help to improve your skin's ability to heal. And then in terms of putting things on it, it depends if you can use non-sterile dressings, but there's a couple of things that are very good for helping skin to heal. Dr. Dealish Clare does a healing cream, and she's got St. John's wort oil in there, and there's comfrey in there. And those two herbs actually encourage the skin to knit back together very, very well. So that's certainly one I could recommend. Again, we spoke about colloidal silver earlier. That's great to keep the area disinfected, very safe to put on. And then the last thing I'd suggest is honey. A good quality honey can help hugely speed up healing. And you can get Medi honey now that is suitable even if you need to use sterile dressings. You'll get it probably, maybe not in a pharmacy, but definitely in a health store. And in fact, you can even get Medi honey in a tube as a salve that you can put on. So I try a couple of those different things and hopefully something will work.
Okay, listen, have a great week and we'll chat to you next Monday. Thanks for that. That's Anneliese Dressel, Health Hub, Times Square in Ballincollig. And Anneliese will put up all of the information we spoke about today on her website this afternoon, as heard on the radio, healthhubstore.com.